to keep myself on mute if that's okay.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You have another one now.
No, I don't even know if I bought one. Usually I go around. I don't really that they would- Same company, good job.
Call the meeting to order. If you could stand for the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Bob, roll call, please. Thank you.
Fine.
Here.
Dean.
Here.
Here.
Here. Wonder Jim here. Palmer.
Here.
Bud.
Here. As a courtesy to the members of the audience and the Board of Education, please silence your cell phone. Any person wishing to address the board may speak at this time. Any person wishing to address the board should complete and submit a public comment form to the board president immediately prior to the beginning of the meeting. Public comment forms are available at each board meeting. And I just want to remind everybody, thank you again. I've got Roger's glasses on. Thank you, Roger. I want to thank everybody. I know, right? Thank everybody for being here this evening and for those who came early for the 6 to 6:45 Q&A with Roger. Again, just a reminder that I'll read my famous statement here, that we could call for a recess or adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. So I've received several emails this week noting to me what public decorum is, and I'm going to kind of stick what we've been doing. And today, though, if there is sneering and jeering and booing and clapping, I am going to ask, I will stop the meeting and ask you to please leave. So I love the fact that we have people here to speak and everybody has an opinion, but what's expected is just civility, respect, and kindness. So we will start the public comment. And sometimes they're not in the way that people put them in. It just happened to be people handing me pieces of paper. Okay, so first person, and then I'm going to call someone to be on deck. So it basically means to be ready when your name is called. So we've got Michelle T. If you could state your name, your address. Thank you.
I'm well known for speaking here. You know, I have kids in the district. I'll be videoing my own speech because we are at the moment. You all know that I get contacted by teachers asking me to speak for them. I was contacted on Friday night asking if I would do the same. Don't know this teacher, but he reached out to me and sent me a letter last night. And I said, as long as I agree with everything in it, that I time to read his letter. So this is not my words, but from one of our Grandville staff. A note of encouragement. Dear concerned Grandville parents, you are the primary stakeholders in your children's education. Your children are our clients. Without them, we have no profession. We love them and we want the best for them. But as parents, every fiber of your being yearns for their success. It is through your unending parental support, hard-earned tax money, bond approvals, millage renewals, relentless attendance at sporting events and conferences, volunteer activities, various roles that you fill in the classroom and beyond that make Grandville the excellent district it is. You take great care of your children and you love them unconditionally. You love our schools and you want what is best for all of the students in Grandville. We, the concerned teachers, want you to know that we appreciate and support your passion, commitment, words, efforts, and actions that have been laser focused on bringing common sense back to our schools. Although this letter is written anonymously, there is a growing number of teachers and support staff that see the direction our schools are heading and know that it will be the passion and unending dedication of parents like you that will cause change. Your prayers, powerful thoughts, and impassioned pleas will eventually be the impetus that rights the ship. We hear you, we support you, and we stand in the shadows, hoping and praying that your message is not only heard, but acted upon by our superintendent and school board. The First Amendment reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Redressing grievances is part of our governmental process. Parents and school board members or teachers unions pain, outrage over your impassioned comments. Just remember that grievances can be defined as indignation or resentment stemming from a feeling of having been wronged. These are earth-moving emotions, and many of the divisive ideas being pushed forward in places of learning are driven by radical political and social ideologies that have no place in schools. As common sense parents with traditional values, you know that schools have lost their way. You are alarmed and your indignation and resentment is bubbling over. We know it is unbelievably difficult to be a parent navigating today's cultural pressures. We must all remember our values are built on the rock. We must be immovable against the cultural winds that are ever changing and based only on feelings and emotions. Our truth and convictions never change, but are based on the same founding principles that form the basis of our great Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Thank you, parents. Stay strong, pray, and never give up.
Brenda Bargenquist.
Y'all know who I am. I live in the city. I've been every meeting but 2 since May. And I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm tired of coming before you and begging to be heard and for you to understand. You know what it's like to be called a domestic terrorist when all I am is the parent wanting what's best for my child. The toll that takes over time. When the local teachers union president posted all over social media when a former board member flashes it all over what horrible people we are. I can't hardly take it anymore. But I'm not going to give up. It's my last child, and I'm so thankful for that. You know, and I'm going to be grandma the next month, and I'm so excited. I'm so sad at the same time because I don't know what they're coming into. We're knee deep in socialism. 72% of our board appears to support such things, and the water's rising fast to our waist. And it's not where I want my grandbaby to live. And I'm guessing that most of my children will homeschool their children because of this radical agenda in our public schools. And the us parents here tonight, I think we think that there's value in public schools and we think they're important. And I think that we can all agree on that. I think that we're all very opinions of whether it can be saved yet. And I'm not sure that it can. But I'm going to fight like the Dickens for the people who are scared to be here and to stand up. Because we're not domestic terrorists, we're parents. And I believe, Roger, you said it's in our school's mission statement to work with parents. You know, we're called divisive. If there's one side that says my way or the highway, and then there's the other side that says you do you and let me do me. And if you can't see the difference and the one is divisive and one is not, you have no intellectual integrity. Intellectual honesty. Like if you can't look at the other side and see their point of view, if you can't see that, you don't belong to this board. And that's just how I feel. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brenda. Rachel Koopmans. On deck, Christy Scrotenmore. Rachel Koopmans and on deck, Christy Scrotenmore. You're gonna pass? Okay. Christy Scrotenmore and then on deck, Janine Jansma.
Hey guys, I would just like to request that the public comment be moved to the end of the meeting. I've done some research. My understanding is that public comments that are unrelated to agenda items can be moved to the end of the meeting. I think it's important because I've seen a lot of people speak, make their comment and leave. And I've seen many people attack the school board and not sit through the meeting and hear the good work that you guys are doing. So my request is to please take this into consideration. I also just wanted to add that, again, a thank you to all of you for all that you do. I know it's not just about showing up every other week for 6 years at these meetings. I know that you're active in our school and in our community, connecting with others. I may not always agree with each of you and how you vote and how you represent the board, but I still appreciate each of you and the hard work that you're doing and working towards improving our school to the best of your ability. So thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Janine Jansma.
I'm speaking on behalf of my grandchildren and children in the school system that are being affected daily through the implementation of rigid rules and protocol that do not serve them or their genuine well-being. It is hard to understand that this educational system is apparently being run by those who refuse to educate themselves. The smallest amount of honest research regarding masks and vaccines and all of the protocols used being to save lives would show very quickly how erroneous they are. And by the way, the COVID-19 shot is not a vaccine. It's an mRNA gene modifier. A genuine inquiry would reveal that not only are these mandates unhelpful, they are actually extremely harmful. Public schools are funded by the government, and that government is demonstrating daily that it is a corrupt, manipulative, and deadly entity. What is it going to take for you to realize that nothing occurring here under the guise of COVID-19 is about health maintenance, but rather is a well-choreographed plan to slide the world into the Great Reset and have communism rule? It boggles my mind the level of ignorance so many are functioning under, or should I say malfunctioning. You have been listening for months now to parents and grandparents who have done the research. We see the bigger picture. The criminals running this charade are going to face the consequences of their actions. And all those who went along with these lawless, unconstitutional, and harmful practices will eventually be held accountable too. I have no doubt that truth and justice shall prevail as humanity reclaims its sovereignty as God created us to be. At the end of the day, God is in control. Be on the side of God. That is where all that is good and right and true and free is. Choose wisely for the love of the children, our country, and one another, and be a hero, a real hero. Stop the mandates.
Thank you. Tessa Jansma. Tessa.
I believe one. Get it? Still transmitted. All these years. All of them are set. Not the same as the polio or any other vaccine that's required for school. Talking about vaccines, because it's coming. And just like we said with the mask. The amount of ridiculousness that we're going with it. Or like football team. Travel all over and play other teams. They don't wear masks on the field. They don't wear them in the stands. They don't even wear them at school. They're in high school. High school. But when they get on the bus, it's like, oh no, put it down, put it down. Like, are we teaching our kids to be good little doobies to the ridiculousness that they can all see through? Like, kids cannot see this. Like, you can't not see that. Like, you have to put a mask on and go with your team, that's your school. And when you all go back in the locker room, go ahead and take it off. Like, come on, we're talking about following the science. You know, like we spoke a little earlier, like, is anybody asking for this science that we're following? Like, I know we're just following the health order from the Kent County Health Department, who refuses to follow the law that was written because Whitmer says she's gonna give them the money anyway, so, you know, they don't have to follow the law. So we're one of 4 counties in Michigan that still is playing this game. And it's like you're playing games with kids over money. And this is all over money. Like, that's why we're so angry. That's why we're so furious. Domestic terrorists, far from it. Far from it. But like we need answers, like, on to why we're still playing this game. Like, are we following the law, or are we following Whitmer's opinion? Because it's her opinion that it was unconstitutional, so she's just gonna give the money anyway, so can't you guys have an opinion? Everything she's done this past year or two has been quite unconstitutional. You guys remember, you put that paint in this floor. This is the lady we're following, and it's like, when is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop? When are we gonna stop being so partisan? In Grandville, I mean, we got Blake, who, you know, everybody here knows about Blake, right? And like, that's our leader? That guy? Hey. Okay. For you guys who are wearing the mask right now, or that you should look up something other than what you have a debate with one of us. A civil debate. Nobody's trying to fight anybody. Right? We're not in high school. Civil debate. Ask questions.
1 minute.
Ask you questions. It seems you know, when you're trying to talk to the other side, it's just complete shutdown. Like, we're never gonna get anywhere, guys. We're never gonna get past this. And these vaccine mandates are coming. Oh, they're coming. And that CNN 10 that you guys have our kids watch, the one with LA and their glorious vaccine mandates that they're doing, and you're trying to tell kids how glorious it is. Okay, that's sick. That's sick. And then more parents are waking up. More parents are waking up, and yeah, see you guys again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Tessa. All right, that's it for public comment. What the heck? Thank you. Okay, Chris Warren.
Chris Warren, my address is on file. Saw some of the news last week that, where there was a meter train. Lady had got raped. And at that time, they're saying, see something, say something. People saw it, but didn't do anything. It's kind of like whenever you've heard the term of a woman says they get raped, then you're better off to scream fire than to scream rape to have someone come and help you. So people did nothing to it. The man was caught, rapist was caught, thank God. And I guess the woman was very strong in giving the information out. But one of the things I look back is that since I've been saved about 20 years, is that I'm not worried about being awkward anymore. If something's right, I'm going to follow it, no matter what it is. I was at a grocery store and there was a kid, the mom was busy doing something, and the kid was like hanging off the cart. It's gonna, I mean, a little kid, maybe like 1.5, and it was gonna hit its head way hard. So I'm like sitting there looking. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna go over and help the kid, you know, and grab the kid. The mom freaked out, like I'm taking her kid, but I see the kid and I let her know, hey, your kid was falling off, and it probably scared her with that situation. But I felt good by the end of the day. You know, that's like right now, if you've heard this before in the news where nurses, if they stop at the scene of an accident, they're better off not giving help because they're worried about being sued. You know, they shouldn't have to worry about whatever that is. They should worry about what's right and wrong. One of the stories I remember, my wife is the exact same way. I remember hearing her going through the mall, and there was a lady seizing. So she was having a seizure, and she went to help her. She didn't care about who was looking at her or whatever else is happening. She was going to help that lady. She wasn't worried about what the lawyer was going to say in that situation, to say, oh, you shouldn't have done anything with that situation. And that's where we're sitting right now. We all know that the masks don't work, have a debate with us and everything else like that. But I know you guys have been told, and I've heard from the school boards from Rockford, that the lawyers are telling you guys, okay, just stick with this mandate, you guys are safe. What does your soul tell you about what's right and wrong? Who cares about what the lawyers say about all that stuff? Okay, because eventually, at the end of the day, we know where things are going. That's why there's so much support with all this. We see where things are going. But I don't care how awkward and this, that, and the other. It's whatever you guys feel inside, what's right or wrong. The masks don't work, but it can cover you up from a lawsuit if someone might get COVID up to 99.999 whatever percent of that is, and these kids are better off to have it and blow through it like my kids do. But just like I see inside yourself and not worry about what other people are thinking, because eventually, like I think someone else has said before, it's whoever the first one that steps through is going to be people that follow us, and it's that strength of the people at Grandville we're going to look up to. So thank you very much.
Okay, that is it for public comment. Thank you, everybody.
Is it too late to say something? I can fill out the form, but it'll just be a minute.
You need to fill a piece of paper out.
Okay. Oh, did you already tell them no? That's okay.
Okay, thank you. You can come back in 2 weeks. We'll be here. All right. Can I get an approval of the agenda? All in favor?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, board member reports. I will start with Amy.
I have some things to report, but I don't think that they're very effective here at home. So I will report in a couple weeks.
Okay, thanks, Amy. All right, thank you. Brent.
Just give a shout out to the band and color guard and Mr. Garcia on the performance on the football game Friday night. It was very impressive to see, and we had friends in from all around the state that were extremely impressed with their performance, and couldn't believe how much better their bands were than what they see at their local high school team. So
Nice.
Congratulations to them. And they've been doing well in their performances, also their competitions.
Excellent. All right, thanks. All right, Jason.
So first off, again, thank you to everyone that came today and provided your comments. Obviously, it is received and you are heard. Okay, I want you guys to know that. Brent kind of touched on it a little bit. It's been a busy month. Gosh, it's been a month since we've done a board report. And this is for me, it's one of the busiest times of the year. So got a lot to report on, a lot of things happening, right? So attended lots of football games, right? Some blowouts, some a little more exciting, like the Rockford games. So the blowouts are a little less exciting, but we'll take the W anyway, right? Attended the volleyball and the Ron Palmer game, Memorial game, and the purple game, right? It was against Jennison, if I remember right? And so good 3-set win there by the varsity girls. So great job there. Lots of JV tennis. So that season's come to an end, so they just do a great job with it. And then lots of middle school cross country, as my youngest does cross country in the middle school. And just want to take a second to just thank Joe Brazil. I think he just does a phenomenal job with those kids, motivating them and always staying positive, helping them, reach in and get the best for themselves and reaching that next personal best at their next race. So he just does a great job. And this is the second year my son's been on the cross country team, and just been a great experience. We did have a lot of band competitions, a couple band competitions, because my middle and my oldest are in the band as well. So did a couple of those, and we had the invitational at the high school. So I'm not sure if anyone attended that. A little smaller than what in years past, because a couple of the larger schools like Rockford and Jenison had homecoming those days. So it wasn't as successful as we wanted to be, but it was still a great event. 9 in the morning till 9 at night, I think I told Kim, because Kim was there help working too. And then that Sunday, right after the band competition, we held what's called the Tours Academy, or Players Academy from the Professional Lacrosse League, which was a really kind of a cool deal. And so professional athletes come, 3 of them. It was Sergio Perkovic, who was actually from Brother Rice, played at Duke. He plays for the Redwoods now as a midi. It used to have one of the hardest shots in the world. And then it was Marcus Holman from UNC, another phenomenal lacrosse school. So just some great talent. And then a guy who was on the championship, the world championship team, was there for that academy. So just a great event. And it was nice, I'm going to say, and we had about 130 boys from all over the area, Kalamazoo to Lansing, Rockford, everywhere. And it was really nice to hear the comments from the parents and the kids and the players even at that event, as well as the band competition about our facilities. So I do want to say, thank you to the community that continues to invest and voting for the millages that we have, investing in our facilities. It goes noticed. I mean, people notice that. They come to our facilities and say, hey, this is something to be proud of. So thank you to the community for continuing to support that, and for the administration for allowing these events to continue to happen, because you don't have to allow these things to happen, but it is a nice way for us to show off a little bit, if you will, right? And finally, I'll say congrats to the kids getting through the October testing day at the high school. That was last week or a couple weeks ago. So I know I had 2 stressed out kids, but the SAT, the PSAT, the PPSAT, I don't know, it's so many tests going. The high school, it had something for every age group till that got through, and everything like that. So that was a nice job from all of them. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah. Right.
Bob.
I brought up a resolution about a month and a half ago for the board to consider. And I guess instead of writing one this time, I thought I would present what my thoughts are. I think we as a board and a community need to provide a resolution and hopefully pass it that would condemn the actions of the National School Board Association. What they did was try and squelch free speech. And the example they used was taken completely out of context to support their position. So instead of getting a little pushback or a lot of pushback that school boards have been getting, they falsely represented parents that are pushing back. And as I'm listening tonight, and right versus wrong, do the right thing. For years I'm always screaming in the wind. I don't mind it. I don't think this is one of those times. I think we seriously need to do that, whether our MASB decides to do anything or Department of Ed, but we should, if we got to be the leaders like we were for COVID, then we should be the leaders here as well. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
I'm gonna ask everyone to sit down. Thank you. Kim?
Thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. Last time we were together, I talked about unity, and I still want to encourage that as a community. Again, it's great. It's great to have discourse. It's great to talk about different things in a democracy. No matter which side we're standing on, we need to stand as great models for our students. And both sides need to evaluate their language, their actions, the way they communicate, and the way they're presenting themselves in our community, because we're raising our children. We're modeling for them. We're watching. So that pointed at one side or the other, looking at everybody in our town, and I want to see better for everyone. We will get through this together. But in the name of unity, the reason we're here is for the kids and all the great things and the education that goes on in this community. I have a few things to share with you from the schools around our district, because they haven't been able to be here and do academic reports lately. In South Elementary, they fully implemented their phonics program this year. I'm really excited about the progress with that. The student council is currently encouraging a positivity measure with a program called To Uplift and Care About Peers. They put positive notes on bulletin boards about things that they see their peers do in school. They have a new lending library to share books, so they're bringing in gently used books and leaving them at the office for other students to share and use and read when they don't have maybe a book at home or the one in the genre that they prefer. They also got a grant from the Grandville Education Foundation. If you're ever looking for a great organization to donate time or money towards, they provide grants just for the schools in our district, and they provided a grant to South Elementary Library to get library materials that would meet the needs of their students who are on the spectrum. They have a program like that for students on the spectrum. At Cummings Elementary, they're really excited about their benchmark data. Benchmark data is the assessment data that enters, particularly in areas of reading and math. Their goal for the year is 80%, and they're already at 70%. We're in October. That's phenomenal data. They met that goal for all of their reading and most of their math classes so far. They have a new MTSS program, that's multi-tiered systems of support. It's where they look at education and learning in the classroom and develop plans of differentiation, going this child needs these extra supports and these ones need this kind of supports and these ones need these kinds of supports. And that's going really well, and they report it being very well received by both the students and the staff there as well. Last recently had a walkathon to raise money. They had great celebrations with that. I don't know if you follow any of their Facebook pages, but they duct taped their principal to the wall. Things like that bring so much joy to students. I think they had a dunk tape as well. So that's a lot of fun. They report conferences were a success. I love that a lot of the buildings this year have done conferences in both virtual and in-person model to accommodate families. I love that. I have 6 kids and going to all their conferences is always impossible, but the ones online, I can just click through them real quick. It's great. They also brought in Grace Youth Camp to bring camp to the school, which is fantastic. And they have some new community partnerships that are really working well for meeting the needs of their students. At Central Elementary, they've had over 60 students be honored with positive behavior support program. It's very huge. It's a small elementary, so they've already had 60 students in the first few months of the year. They recently had a community tailgate, which is a great time to fellowship with the community and the students together. And the students participated in the art program to make a scarecrow for the downtown Grandville Fall Fest. They had a chance to get out and see those scarecrows and other sculptures downtown. That was really neat. They're currently using results from their fall assessments to create tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. So that's what I was talking about with their multi-tiered systems of support. And in a few weeks, they're doing a pancake breakfast for students and for the community. So they're excited about that. At the high school, Woodshop is back. I have a son who's in Woodshop. I was so excited to have that back this year. We really missed it last year. As we adjusted some of our funding and priorities to making sure we were staffed for all of our virtual needs. We had a space open and holding for Woodshop, and I'm glad that we brought that back this year. It's important that we focus on all different pathways to post-secondary learning, and the trades is certainly one that we value. in our community, and I appreciate that. And recently, Grandville High School won the Feeding America competition. All the other schools in the region were challenged to bring in food to donate throughout their Friday, like football frenzy programs, and Grandville had over 3,900 some pounds of food. And so they got the crown for the Greater West Michigan area. Which is really cool. The middle school this week dedicated a new water garden, which is really great to see, especially since we live right in the Buck Creek watershed area. There's a lot of learning opportunities that students are getting their hands on and out there applying it to potential career opportunities in our community and preservation of our local ecosystem. Some other things that I was able to attend, I was also at the band competitions, and the invitation was great. I want to say thank you to the boosters for putting that on. It's such a big piece of work to bring that many schools in and run a program like that to make sure our arts programs are funded. Attended a lot of the athletics that we've had going on, but also got a chance to spend about 8 hours with kids at VEX competition last Saturday. It was my first experience seeing a full 8-hour competition, and boy, was it fun. I'm looking around and I'm just seeing their minds working, and all I could see was future. Like, this kid's gonna build a rocket. This kid's gonna be an HVAC technician. This kid's going to, their eyes were glowing. They were excited. They were working together, and the adults weren't doing much other than judging and guiding. It was amazing, the leadership and the application of education and the community that was working together. So it was a really fun event to see and participate in. We've got a lot going on here that can unify us together in difficult times. I hope we can focus on some of these things in the coming weeks and months to remind us why we're all here and making, challenging decisions together. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kim. All right, Barb.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. I did a nice job there. I just wanted to thank the varsity volleyball team for holding that fundraiser in honor of Ron Palmer, my brother-in-law, who lost his fight to cancer earlier this year. It was great to see both Grandville and the Jenison players working together to honor loved ones who had lost their battle to cancer or are currently fighting this dreaded disease. So again, I wanted to thank Grandville and Jenison for coming together, working together to put the fundraiser together. Dana Loveland was also a major part of that. She was a dear neighbor of Ron and our family. And also want to thank Jessica Doe, the coach, for the support that she's given my niece through this tough time and the school itself. And the good news is they raised about $6,000 for cancer research. So thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Awesome. Just again, a shout out to our elementary schools, like Kim was saying, who participated in the Scarecrow competition. Grandville does such a nice job at doing community events downtown, and it never ceases to amaze me, the kids that come out to volunteer. There were tons of volunteers from the high school there on Saturday. It was really super exciting because it tied into the grand opening of the Grandville Library. I don't know if everybody has had an opportunity to visit that, but it is amazing the amount of money that was raised and generated to bring just a beautiful addition to the library, and then just so many other really amazing things. We're really lucky to have a community that has such a great library system. In addition, kudos and congratulations, Jordan Coleman, who is the son of one of our own teachers at Century Park, qualified for the state tennis tournament and represented us well. He made it all the way to the quarterfinals. Very tough to compete at that level, Division I. And so he had a very tough opponent, but he just a great kid, good representative. A great shout out to Mrs. Susan Peterson and for all the work that she did on that yearbook. We received that a couple weeks ago, and I don't know how they did it, and all the photographs and all the clubs and organizations and the sports teams. And somehow it brought me back to that last year. We were coming out of this. I'm excited to see the yearbook again next year, because those kids put a lot of effort into that beyond just being in a classroom. And so I challenge everybody. I don't know if everybody had an opportunity to page through it. I like to look at the clubs and organizations that we offer. New group last year was Calling All Colors. Every year, it just is amazing that there's a new group that starts and there's a teacher in the building or an administrator or a staff person that is willing to take time out of their day to be part of those clubs and organizations. It's very challenging. And I was invited to be a guest at one of the clubs at the middle school, and there they were at 7:20 in the morning, 30 students running off their buses to get to the room that we were having the meeting. And I was a guest to speak to the group, and it was just so fun to see them meeting as a group and connecting in person. Again, I want to do a shout out to the GEF, and I encourage everybody here. I don't know if y'all participated, but my family did last year, where we did the front porch photo day, and it's $100, and 75% of it goes to the GEF, and it really was amazing. It was like a 10-minute photo session on the front porch of our house with all our dogs and our whole family, and it was a lot of fun. So that takes place in November, and y'all can sign up. So just a good way to support. That is it from me. And how about you?
Sure. First of all, nice summary of a lot of activities that I had listed and was going to name several of them, but you guys did such a fine job. So great job with that. Had one other thing I wanted to say, and I wrote down my thoughts today just because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. The importance of seeking to understand different viewpoints and respecting others when we see things in a different way is an integral part of what our community, our parents, and our scholars have told us is important within the students we grow. As a matter of fact, it's right up there. I respect the various viewpoints in our world, and especially within our community. What I question is not the what we as adults believe or don't believe, but how we have been going about our discussions when we don't see things the same. And let me be clear, labels like domestic terrorist are very inappropriate, very inappropriate. I cringe to think what our students are thinking as they witness how we and people across our area are going about this. It is not the way it should be, and we all know it. At some point, we all must put our what aside and focus on why we are here. We are here for kids. We are here to prepare them for their future. We are here to make their world better than the one we live in. If that's not why we're here, then we shouldn't be here. How do we do this? By focusing on what we have in common instead of our differences. We have a great community filled with incredible people, including every single person in this room. Let's find a way to put our differences aside and move forward together, making our how respectful and displaying an unwavering commitment to each other and our kids. After all, that is the Grandville way. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, Roger.
No business.
Okay, thank you. All right, consent action. Can I have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Amy. All right, regular action items. We have our first item is summer tax collection resolution. It is recommended that the Board of Education adopt the attached resolution imposing a 100% summer tax levy on all school property taxes, including debt service upon property located within the school district, and request each city and or township in which this district is located to collect those summer taxes. Can I have a motion
So moved. Support.
and discussion?
Sure. As you know, this is an annual thing we do. Heather, do you have anything you wish to add?
I guess I would just add that the portion of this is like the local taxes for the district. This is state. And as about how the shift from funds come into the district when proposal labor was passed. So the purpose of that is we don't. And so another reason for
Any other?
I do. So we've done this for 21 years now. And when we first moved to it with, when Tim Raymer was our assistant soup, it was a very good thing to do. It helps us maintain our books, as Heather talks about. You know, we get to play with our cash, our community cash, which helps this facility run without having to maneuver a bunch of accounts. So I don't know how many, I know I've got property up north in Wake County, and they do not do this. And it's a very positive thing to do for this district and actually this community. It just keeps everything moving along without a hitch. So just to give more definition to people in the audience so they understand what we're doing tonight.
Anybody else? All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All opposed? All right. Second reading, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following revisions to bylaws and policies. The bylaws and policies are as follows. Bylaw 0100 definitions revised. Bylaw 0167.3 public participation at board meetings revised. Public policy 3120 employment of professional staff revised. Policy 5722 school-sponsored publications and productions replacement. Policy 6114 cost principles spending federal funds revised. Policy 6152 student fees, fines, and supplies revised. Policy 7450 property inventory revised. Policy 8310 public records revised. Policy 8320 personnel files revised. Policy 8330 student records revised. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
All right.
So as you know, and as talked about our last meeting, Neola gives us updates twice a year. And the revisions and or replacements are generally based upon legal decisions that have been made, laws that have been changed, and so on. So I gave you a summary of the changes, what they are, and why Neola recommends them. And we've had some discussion on a few things. I did get back to you on the one piece about board meetings and participating remotely. And as you may recall, that I communicated to you in a board update when you had asked about it, you know, those right now, that the only reason, you know, it's supposed to terminate at the end of this year. Calendar year. And the anyway, the only reason is due to military leave thus far. The attorneys believe there may be some other options that pop up, but they're not sure. So at this time, that's where that stands.
So in the past several years, so just for clarity, because sometimes I'm a little slow. For clarity, we have in the past, as Amy is doing right now, on a conference call with us to participate as a member and voting member of this board.
Correct.
After December 31st, that is not allowed.
Correct.
You have to be in person.
Correct.
Got it. And we've been talking about that for
Unless
years.
you have a military leave.
Yeah.
So is that a change? Policy? I'm not saying the one that was in place right for the last years, that's a change to the one before that, right? That's not a return to that policy, it's a change to that policy. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's modification, yes.
Yes.
We've been talking about this, we really have for years. I've traveled and
We've all done
Yeah,
that.
no, we've all done it, yeah.
Mhm.
If there are other options that come up, what'll happen is Neola will generate again a policy revision, and I'll bring that to you, and we'll discuss what those options are and whether we would choose to exercise those or not.
Yeah, and I would just, I hope everyone feels comfortable enough to still participate. I think the participation is still
Yes.
important, right? Even if your vote doesn't necessarily count, I think the input of everybody and the participation of everybody, if they need to call it, is important. I hope to continue to see that.
From my perspective, it's a loss of local control once again. So the legislature
Yeah.
is forcing this issue upon us. Because I think we were good stewards. We have maintained good stewardship. And this just says, no, you might have, we're not going to give it to you. The trust level is the big eroding thing that annoys me.
Any background as to why that one changed?
I wondered what was
Did not
happening.
get-
that-
Yeah, well,
Did not get
exactly.
details.
Something was
It just
happening.
became, I mean, it became law. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they changed it, you know, and it became law. So like I said, there is some wondering if that law won't change and allow a few more circumstances. Sometimes laws are ready, fire, aim,
Yeah.
if you will, where they'll enact the law and then they didn't think about this or didn't think about
Yeah.
that. Not that any of us have experienced any of that. But the anticipation is that they are going to come back with a few more. And like I said, we'll bring those to you if and when they happen.
Ridiculous.
Attendance here. I wonder if you could like briefly explain this 5722, like the purpose behind that one. That's like the online clubs and.
Sure. Well, obviously technology has changed and there's a lot of, there are a lot of performances, a lot of publications, things that people are doing electronically within schools. And what we had to do because of that rapid change, they added the technology components and we had to decide whether there was I think 3 to 4 different options, one being just let people decide and do publications and things as they would, then it gets more and more, stringent as you go down, as you look at those. What we decided in there, of course, is those kinds of things cannot go external or be done for internal, external purposes without the prior approval from administration, in particular the superintendent. So, you can't just go off and do your own thing and get it out there to people. It has to be discussed and approved.
Under the name of Grandville Public Schools, people
Correct.
can't create.
Correct. Yes.
Is
Thanks
that
for bringing that
happening
one up.
now, Roger? Or is
It
kind of hit and miss?
typically is, but there are a lot of complex things with social media and a variety of things where things can get out there and no one's really talked about them or cleared them that are Grandville, under the Grandville Public School sponsor, especially with technology, it'd be very easy to do some things and get it out there. So
Do we
it's
have someone watching
just
that?
very clear.
I mean, like a
Yes.
staff person or?
Well,
people or-
Well, we don't watch other people's technology, but anything
ours.
that's school sponsored,
okay.
yes,
Okay.
has to go through an approval process.
So where is the line drawn on that when it comes to, obviously there's an official Grandville Twitter page, right? There's an official Grandville website, there's official Grandville Facebook page. So does that then go to all clubs and organizations at the high school, or is it just for the official Grandville?
It's really for all things that are under the Grandville Public Schools, realm or publication.
So just for point of clarification, not everything has to be, not every piece of communication has to be approved by you, but at the end of the day, you have oversight of it all and can.
Right. Right, and if there are things that are going to be done that are new or are projects
Mhm.
that haven't had prior approval, then those need to be brought to our office, yes, for approval. And the technology around.
Yep.
Any other questions about any of these? I know we spent a lot of time on them.
All right. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Thank you. All right. Sale of real estate property. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the attached resolution to sell a parcel of land located at 4146 to the roof doctor. Jeez. LLC pursuant to the purchase agreement. It is further recommended that the superintendent or assistant superintendent of business services be authorized to execute the attached agreement and other documents closing the sale of this property on behalf of the Board of Education. Can I have a motion? Right.
Sure, I'll give some background, and Heather, feel free to chime in if you wish. So we purchased, as you know, we purchased the property at 4146 Kennewa Avenue, which is next to our bus garage, with the intent of being able to create a different drive out. We have a hard time right now with our buses coming out of the current garage without having to make very sharp turns in and very sharp turns out. We'll be able to have that land and have the ability to create a much wider and safer turn, we believe, for our buses to go in and out. There is a company that that is leasing the it's like a pole barn building that's out near the highway.
The old Z-Bar.
Yes, the old Z-Bar called the Roof Doctor. And part of when we purchased the land from a different person, part of the agreement was we would look at selling that portion of the land because we didn't need it for our purposes to the Roof Doctor to be able to conduct their business there. So what this is in essence is giving us, me, Heather, and of course Attorney John Teeples to be able to execute that purchase agreement.
Are they responsible? I didn't read the whole document, right? It's all legalese. Are they responsible for any contamination that is on that drawn land that we are giving them for that plot?
We are selling that land. That land is not our responsibility in the future. No. Heather, do you want to add anything?
Even prior to the sale? I mean, even though it's ours and the short time it's ours, we're not liable for anything?
At the time of that initial closing, we own the whole property currently. We have these two environmental on the property. That was contingent on them being a portion of that as well.
Okay, great.
We still have the land to get out of our buses out?
Yes,
kind of thing. Okay, we only needed a portion of that then. to-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we only needed a portion of that land there, and we have some other projects with part of that land we'll be able to use. Right now, if you drive down there, you may see a police officer sitting by the tree. It's on Kennewa. That's the area. Yes. Okay, so if you look behind that, there's property back in there, and from our current bus garage, GMB is designing a better situation for us for our buses. And we have some land there that will do some things for the transportation department as well.
Are we charging rent to the city of Grandville police for sitting there?
No.
Oh, too bad. Good opportunity there, Raj.
Bob, you're kind of close there.
I know.
Personal space. All right, anybody else? Let's do a roll call just because even though we're selling, it's kind of fun.
Under Jim, yes. Palmer,
Yes.
Highbauer,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Gardine,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Buck.
Yes. So we have no discussion items. So the next board meeting is Monday, November 1 at 7:00 PM at the admin building. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
This is for that land. Oh, you got my bad.
No, no, no.
Nice.
I didn't know if I was doing it right.